Hey, what's good guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on my daily driven donkey, which is a Ford Focus. Now if you subscribe to the channel because of my Verossa, BMW E53, Fair Ladies, Nissan Elgrand, Mitsubishi Delica or whatever, stay tuned because obviously I still have those cars and there's much more coming. But the mission car, the daily driven donkey that suffers the most is obviously the Ford Focus. There's always have to be some kind of a car that, you know, you bring the IKEA furniture or go pull up some missions, trips, road trips, whatever. But anyways, today we are upgrading that with three somewhat necessary options, and one of them is actually OEM. And I'm not even sure why or what has entered the mind of marketologists in the Ford factories or headquarters to delete it from the MK1 Focus, since my one is MK1.5. I just don't understand how do you live and how do you exist on this planet, and how do you delete the most necessary option from the car and just, you know, make people think that they are complete and total peasants and they deserve to just breathe dust throughout the ownership of the Ford Focus. But I guess that's how Ford talks to their clients, and whoever drives a Ford Focus MK1 is a complete and total piece of shit.
Dudes.
Yeah, hey, yeah.
Smooth ride, smooth price.
Yeah.
Your local Ford.
And before I continue, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and also if you're gonna like the video, please put on that like button, press it hard, preferably from all your accounts, from your phone, from your tablet, laptop, work computer. Just joking, but if you came here just for the Focus, I have something else interesting for you. I have this beast right here, which is covered pretty suspiciously, and it's waiting to become one of the most iconic builds. If you know what this is, write it in the comments down below. This beast right here is one of the most stylish, just stylish, epic builds that have ever came from Toyota factory. This is a Toyota Chaser. In this case, it's a 1.5 JZ. Unfortunately, with a problematic transmission right now, manual obviously, and this thing is about to become one of the most iconic, picturable, Instagrammable chasers that's gonna be out there. The reason why I'm saying that, not because I'm just some wannabe, but those chasers, Mark IIs, Crestas, Sorers, Verossas, whatever, all that JDM stuff, Delica, Land Cruiser, Pajero, Prado, you name it. I'm from an island that's 30 kilometers away from Japan, in Russia, which is called Sakhalin, and we had all these cars since 1990s, if not even before.
Направились на разбытие, уезжаем в город. Мы уже выехали, мы на трассе.
these cars since 1990. Probably one of the first imports of a chaser has went to my island because it's just a couple of hours ferry to go to Japan. And these cars on my island, the police officers have them, whatever you name it, everybody has these cars, so I know what I'm talking about. I've seen at least thousands and thousands and thousands of those cars. I've seen thousands of all of those JDMs because we never ever had a classical Russian car on my island. It was like a museum exponent to see a Russian car on my island. We only had JDM cars, we only had Skylines, Supras, whatever, and in there it's all just like, you know, it goes into your eyes so much that you just, that's too much sometimes. But nonetheless, please subscribe, I also have an E53 and a couple of more JDM VIP vans coming on the video. You can actually check it out on the channel. And for now, let's continue with the donkey and see what we can make out of it. Today we're installing the Eagle Eyes, which comes with the two halos, high beam, projector for the xenon, or it might be going for a conversion on an LED and the blinker or whatever. The second situation we have here is the fog light. There you go. I ordered those on AliExpress. Obviously the quality is somewhat pretty garbage. You can see that it's not the best situation, but hey, you know what? The Ford Focus is just a daily driven donkey. I don't really want to spend too much on those projects while having more other cars. Here is the ignition boxes for those xenon lights. Actually pretty decent quality because they are full aluminum blocks, universal. They actually work on anything. So this is the upgrade number one, the lights situation. The second upgrade that we're installing today is we're just slapping on those oval Kenwood speakers. Not really necessary, but still it's a cool little upgrade with the 220 watt 4 speakers, and I'm gonna marry that to the Sony music situation here. And most of you probably don't know what this is, but this is the third upgrade, and this is what and that's why I've been talking about Ford so brightly. This is the upgrade that we're gonna be installing, and it's gonna be coming in the last. So please stick around to make sure to catch this moment and understand what this is all about. It took pretty much half a minute to assemble that. It's all basic plug and play, and strap it on. Those two cables go on the battery, and that's it. That's the easiest upgrade you can probably do on your fog lights. Now let's go over to the focus. Nothing to see here. I just slapped on the one of those ST bumpers on the front. At least the car doesn't look like a soap box anymore. We'll be slapping on those fog lights since they never came in my version, essentially. My one comes with a button already. And another thing that you gotta love this car is that it comes with a absolutely amazing, out of this world 4x108 whatever bolt pattern that doesn't exist anywhere but this car. This is just disgusting. Why would you do that? Installing first the fog lights, then the lights. So we're gonna be taking those lights off and then putting on the head but the lower fog lights in. The European spec, by the way, of this car actually came with the flip up emblem with the key inside that locks the hood. That's pretty neat, but I'm not sure why you need that. Another reason why I'm installing headlights and fog lights in the same time is because the manufacturer for those Eagle headlights came up with this fitment for those little disgusting xenon lights. It's not the xenon that's disgusting, it's the fitment, and apparently you just can't find them anywhere. So that's another thing. Probably the manufacturer of those headlights went with the Ford strategy and just made everything complicated for people to upgrade it or even just to maintain it, but whatever. Takes about a minute to take those both headlights off, and there you go, check number one. I throw the wires onto the battery. Right here we have the button saying that it actually is functional. Here you go, check number one. I wish they were brighter, but maybe down the road obviously they're gonna be getting upgraded, but we'll see how the effectiveness of these lights perform on the street. Obviously some situations have happened here, and on the light, as you can see right here on this block that controls the halo lights and the day light running lights, I guess that's what it's called, the cable snapped right on the connection right here. So I had maybe like 5 little wires, 5 little metal pieces to connect to, but anyways, looks like it worked out well on the soldering operation. Product is all done, all wrapped up, all the wiring has been armored into the rubber electrical tape, as you can see right here. The ignition block, the ignition module has been glued to the side so it doesn't dangle anymore, it's not gonna get damaged. Everything has been soldered, everything has been worked up with the liquid tape on the side where it's been soldered next to the block. But yeah, obviously this update is gonna look absolutely not amazing at all since it's a Ford Focus. Nothing to be proud of here, to be honest, since it's a Ford. At least the night illumination is gonna be somewhat dear spotful due to this projector right here, which is ultra tiny, but still it holds up a xenon bulb for now that doesn't work, and you cannot find that fitting anywhere because the manufacturer of these lights, which is aftermarket, decided to go with the Ford logic and apply something that is hard to get or almost impossible to get. So obviously nothing too scientifically insanely complicated. We're just slapping on those headlights like this. There you go, a little upgrade installed now. It does look somewhat appealing. Halos. Third focus. Now the next light upgrade is gonna be those fog lights that I got from AliExpress, but if you follow up closely and turn on your logic, there's two main factors that needs to be aligned. That's getting fog lights for Ford, and in my case I ordered the fog lights from China. You know how those things are gonna work out? They're not gonna work out. This piece right here, you know what, it's I took out the actual original piece. This is actual glass, unlike this plastic. And this, I'll tell you right now, it's called Vallejo. I'm not sure if the camera's gonna work it out, but it's made in Belgium. And you know what, I do think that it is made in Belgium, it's not fake, because first of all it's glass, good quality. It's actual legitimate projector for a fog light, and it just needs a little buff. I'm just gonna put it back. I'm not even gonna use that Chinese crap. I might just use the wiring because I need the fuse and I need the turn on module, so I might use that wiring, but obviously I'm gonna have to reinforce it completely, wrap it up in the 3M rubberized electrical tape, and then put some waffle on top of that. It actually already comes with waffle. We'll see if that actually works out. Stretch that into the module for the lights into the car, and yeah, just keep the OEM Ford Focus ST whatever bumper is. Actually, that's good news. That's somewhat actual, probably the first good news for today is that those fog lights are actually legitimate, and I shouldn't have even waited for those Chinese, because second of all, they don't even fit. They don't even fit this bumper because the connectors are completely different. So now let's go into the car and I'll show you what's the music like. So there you go, it's all installed. Even got some BMW options in this Focus for the illumination of the boots. It's all nice and lit up right now. All the speakers are intact. Let's see how this thing sounds. This Sony actually does sound really good, but I just don't like how it looks overall with all this pocket in here. I mean, nothing is gonna make it look even better, but you know what, I'll probably just go and slap in this Pioneer right here, the double din. Also, this musical box here is from somewhat 2011, 2012, and this Pioneer here that I got to source is only a year old. It also got the Bluetooth and phone stabilization in it, meaning I can talk over the Bluetooth, but whatever. Let's see how it sounds.
Man, tell me what you gon' do. Act a fool.
It's okay, it seems to be not too bad. Let's do this track right here. It's alright. Nothing too serious. You know what? I'm just gonna take this out right now and put in the Pioneer.
Alright, fire 'em up. We go live and fire.
There you go.
Time for ignition and straight up automobile pimp.
Not to say that it does look a little bit the same, since we're still in the Ford Focus. Yet, what can you do? Now it does actually sound quite much better with that Pioneer, but the moral of the story is gonna be one thing. Now, you guys are all listening to the cars on music players like YouTube, maybe iTunes, whatever you have, but to tell you the truth, the official, actual product that you can listen in the car at the best quality, no matter if you have this Ford Focus, if you have Bauer Wilkins in your BMW, or if you have something fancy, super out of this world, galactic in your Rolls Royce, Audi, Harman Kardon, whatever, all these sound systems, they mean absolutely nothing when you listen to music from your phone. It's the most horrible sandpaper that you can roll around your finger and put it into your ears, because that's exactly what you're doing when you're listening to music from YouTube or whatever. The actual product that's being recorded on the studio by the creator is brought to you in the form of this. This is not digital, this is analog, this is physical, especially if it's comes in the box, all signed, all certified. This is what you should be listening to. And you know what, even going to nowadays a pawn shop, they sell those discs for $3. So you know what, even to have that experience, to go for a scavenger hunt in a pawn shop or used records store, it's gonna make your experience in listening to this music much better, because you can hear every single little bit of frequency while listening to the analog CD. Unless you have a Walkman Sony that's the top tier, they sell at about 3,000, 3,500 to 4,000 actually, those Walkman players. They come with as much as I remember, 2 headphone jacks, and each one of those headphone jacks is the actual hardcore heavy duty the jack that is you probably seen those stereo mono headphones that the DJs are using. Those come sometimes with 2 plugs, because you need one plug to have a high quality mono and the other plug for high quality stereo, because both ears they receive 2 different signals while you're listening on your headphones. That's my gig of the day for today, but for now we're gonna go and see what's the last option that I'm adding to this car, which is OEM, and you're gonna laugh about it because Ford did that to their people. Now what's hidden under this ultra stylish guard is our next OEM function option that is missing. This is all the filter that you get in the Ford Focus. They deleted the air filter for the cabin, so you always breathe in all the dust. That's the true peasant option that you get in the Ford Focus. That's just the worst thing. Even in Ladas they have cabin filters, even in Skodas, even in Opel you have a filter for your cabin, but not in the Focus. Thankfully I grabbed this piece right here from the first generation Focus, because those ones that are made hand built obviously had this option. That's just as bad as it gets. Now that it's all cleaned up and somewhat looks fine, let's use this rust paint. Hopefully it's not the paint that will make it rust much more. This is the bracket again for the air filter. Let's warm it up. Let's warm up that glue that I have put on, which has basically is always used in sealing the headlights. It's pretty good glue. You just heat it up and you stuck it on, as well as we'll be tightening it with a couple of bolts, because these brackets, these exact brackets, they do fit perfectly. Slapping it on. Since the contact surface hasn't really been painted, I can just go and slap it on right like this. Let's see if we get a better light like this. Right here we need some light. There you go. And right there it's also fits in perfectly. As you can see, this is the area that goes into the duct, and it fits on it completely perfectly. So obviously there hasn't been any structural changes that have been performed on the factory, so it just bolts on. Nice and OEM, as if Ford did it to its people and deleted the airbox for the cabin filter. That's just horrible. So the overall situation for today: the air filter cabin is in, headlights are on, music is in, but the fog lights is a failure on one side. On the other side is actually really nice to have this Belgium, made in Belgium, actual glass fog lights, which I'm just gonna send off. Make sure that the glass is polished and then polyurethane wrap it, as well as the headlights, but that's later. For now, the car goes onto parking for at least a couple of days for the paint to settle. Maybe I'll put on another coat, tighten up the airbox, make sure everything is properly positioned, install the air filter. I'm gonna do that in the next video about this car, as well as I'll probably add a couple of more upgrades. And these side skirts came off of a random car, which has a lot to do with this car, and it's completely different country, completely different brand, but those things, they just bolt onto the car. And I'm gonna probably, if I get around in painting them, I'll just add them onto the car in the next video to keep things a little bit more interesting. And I'll probably do some more body kit work on it. And as far as this goes, thank you for staying on the video. Thank you for watching it until the end, and hope you have a good day. Stay tuned, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions in terms of the stuff that I did today.